Thanks for joining us here on Indivisible. I'm your host, John Stubbins. We're thrilled to have you with us, America. This is the show where we put God first, our family and country, and we will always tell you the truth. We are streaming today, as always, on PatriotTV.live, Cloud Hub, Pill.net, Foxhole app, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Pure Social TV, Spreely.com, and FrankSpeech.com. Speaking, and by the way, I want to give a shout out to Dave Bray, who does our music. Fantastic. We just love it. It always sends shivers down my spine because it's just so patriotic, and Dave is amazing. Great artist. If you don't know Dave Bray, check him out on YouTube, Spotify. He's an amazing patriot. By the way, speaking of Mike Lindell, our sponsor, I want to give a big shout out to Mike. By the way, you go to mypillow.com and you enter Indivisible as a promo code, which is my promo code, and you'll get huge discounts up to 66% off of everything. And you can also call my 1-800 number. That's 1-800-716-4639. And then, by the way, and speaking of Mike, he is on the way again today, trying to get those pillows delivered, 12,000 pillows, two different kinds of pillows, Bible pillows, classic pillows that he's bringing across that Canadian border. They were stopped yesterday, and they're going to come back again today. And here's what's really good. You're going to love this. For fun, Mike decided to play a joke on the Daily Beast. This is hilarious. He told them he's going to drop them out of the sky. Since the trucks were delayed, he decided that he's gonna drop the pillows from the sky out of a helicopter. So hopefully it doesn't come to that, but maybe that'll throw him off the trail. By the way, I hope that my friend Brian Glenn at RSBN Network is fine. He was detained yesterday by the Canadian authorities, and I just hope that he's out of there because, you know, Mike has a plant in Montreal, but because of limits, they weren't allowed to get the 12,000 pillows that they needed out of the Montreal plant. So they had to come out of the Minnesota plant for this particular delivery of 12,000 pillows. Now, that being said, I want to talk about the great state of Texas for a minute here. We were going to have Colonel Allen West, who's running for governor, on today, but his schedule's so tight. We're working with his team up to this morning. It's just no way to make it happen. Along with having Commissioner Sid Miller on, who's our guest today, and it would have been great to have those two as a combo. But we've got Sid, and it's going to be a great show. And we'll have Colonel West on in a week or so after CPAC. But let's talk about Texas, because the great state of Texas, as you guys know, I was down there for 2 months. Leading up to the holidays, and with my friend Lara Logan and Jason Jones, working on getting our people out of Afghanistan, working on the border. Jason's embedded down there, as you know, so we were doing specials, shooting specials. We covered some of the escapees and interviewed them from Afghanistan. Obviously, Lara and I, besides the border with Jason, also covered CRT and cancel culture, and did several specials down there that were wonderful. But Texas, don't mess with Texas, okay? And I tell you that because we have a lot of friends in Texas. I don't care if it's Colonel West. I don't care if it's Sid Miller. It doesn't matter, okay? My friend Lara Logan, Jason Jones, all these people. We have lots of friends, okay? And there's no way that Texas is going blue. I'm tired of hearing this nonsense out of Beto O'Rourke about how he all of a sudden now has had a change of heart, and now he's supposedly for the Second Amendment. I know you guys are going to get a kick out of that because we have him on video talking over and over again about how he's going to take your guns. Well, that's not going to happen, and it's definitely not going to happen in Texas, okay? So you've got people like Beto O'Rourke out there running down there, lying to Texans, to voters, and everybody knows this guy. They know he's a liar, just like Joe Biden, just like all the other lies that come out of the Democratic Party, whether it's on the border wall, which we've got all the supplies President Trump already paid for, just sitting there rotting. They've already been paid for. We've talked about them. Joe Biden's going to try to get us out of all those contracts. It's going to end up costing the taxpayer more to get us out of the contracts than it actually will, for the actual items we already purchased. So we've got them. They've been purchased, and they're just sitting there. But no, to spite Trump, Biden's going to make sure that we don't get that wall completed. Also, the mandates, CRT nonsense that's happening down in, like Dallas and Austin and, some of the bigger cities down in Texas. And by the way, punishing these truckers. I mean, think about this. Think about the protesters up in Canada, okay? And they would do this anywhere. They would try to do this in Texas, anywhere else in the country if they come after our truckers. But they won't punish BLM, right? Those people don't go to jail. There's no bail policy. They'll even bail. Kamala Harris and Biden will even bail them out, as we've talked about before. And I'll say this, and I'm going to talk about this further over the coming days. With these truckers, I got to tell you, if they're going to come from California and drive across the country, you go to Washington, D.C. if you want to, but I tell you where I would go. I would go to New York City. You want to know why? Because New York City the blowhard has made it very, very well known, even with Adams, the new mayor there, that they have a no bail policy. They're not going to prosecute criminals. So our truckers have nothing to worry about. So what are they going to do to them? They won't prosecute murderers or people that assault or loot or smash and grab or anything else. I mean, you can take a bat and hit an old lady upside the head from behind her, and you'll be out of jail in 4 hours after you kill her. So, look, our truckers, you know what? Have them drive New York City from California and clog up every inch of that island of Manhattan, and let's see how that goes, because I'm tired of these dictators trying, like Trudeau, like Biden, Harris, dictating to us what we're going to do and what we have to do. We don't have to do anything. This is America. This is a God-fearing country. That's the way it was built, and that is the way it is going to stay. Now, all that being said, I want to introduce a man of the people from the great state of Texas, the Agricultural Commissioner, Mr. Sid Miller. How you doing, brother?
Good to be with you, John.
Glad to have you, sir. We are thrilled, and I hope that you got a chance to listen to my monologue there. It's really disappointing because Texas. If we didn't have Texas and Florida, boy, I tell you, America would be hurting right now, wouldn't it?
Well, it would. People have been looking to Texas for a long time for leadership, whether it be job creation or predictable regulations or no income tax. I mean, the list goes on and on. So we still have over 1,000 people per day, new Texans every day here in our state. So we're the fastest growing state in the union.
Right. Yeah. And where are they coming from? They're coming from California. They're coming from New York City, right? And I tell you the joke, Commissioner, and this is a good one, but it's true. If you try to rent a U-Haul from San Francisco, Los Angeles, or New York, you're going to pay upwards of $2,000 to rent a U-Haul, right?
Right.
If you rent a U-Haul from San Antonio or Dallas and you want to go move to San Francisco or New York, it's going to be probably $500.
Yeah.
Why is that?
They might even give it to you.
That's right. That's right. Because nobody wants to go there. That's why.
Yeah. Rent one and we'll give you the second one for free. Just take them both.
That's right. That's right. Look, as I said, the commissioner is a man of the people. He's got his finger on the pulse of the people in Texas, and that's why he's the commissioner. President Trump has endorsed him. And speaking of that, I'm going to put that up on the screen, and I've got that right here. This is the Save America PAC by our friend President Trump, who has endorsed Commissioner Miller to continue to take over and continue to run the Department of Agriculture, which is so important, not only for the United States, but for Texas itself. So I wanted to share that. And also talk about that a little bit, because you've got President Trump's full endorsement.
Oh, yeah. The second time.
Second time. How did that make you feel for him to come back again and say, "We love you, Sid. We've got you, brother"?
Well, you know, there's not a better endorsement than you can get. Even though I've got people like Ted Nugent and others, that Donald Trump is as good as it gets. And, you know, not only did I have his endorsement, John, but last September, right before the presidential election, I got a call from the White House Appointments Office. And they said, the president wants to know if you'd take a Senate confirmed appointment. I said, well, there's nothing I wouldn't do for the president. Oh, by the way, what is it you need me to do? Well, they said there was going to be some changes at the USDA, and he wanted me to come up and be part of the cabinet and run the USDA. So I was flattered, you know, that the president not only does he endorse me, but he thinks enough of me to add me to his cabinet. And he would have, but, you know, if he'd had a second term, which we know how that turned out.
Yeah, well, it doesn't mean it can't still happen, right?
It can still happen. It can still happen.
Yeah, we'll look to 2024 for that. And by the way, folks, the commissioner, he's a very humble man, but, you know, he's a farmer. Like I said, when I say he's got his finger on the pulse of the people, I mean that. He is a farmer, and he is a champion rodeo rider, and we're thrilled about that, because I wanted to talk about that for a second. We're putting on an event actually sponsored by Set Apart Farms and the Military Rodeo Cowboys Association on June the 4th down in Pasadena, Texas. Here's Set Apart Farms, healing veterans' families, and just an amazing organization down in Texas. So we're thrilled to be partnered with them. We're trying to get, I'm working, like I said, with you, with Perry Hooper, people like that. We're trying to get Lee Greenwood in, and Chris Rock, or excuse me, Kid Rock, Chris Rock, Kid Rock, a couple of his bands.
Yeah.
Maybe even, hey, maybe we can reach out to Ted Nugent. Maybe he'll come down.
He might love to do it. It's brought up his alley.
Yeah, we need people that care about veteran families, because so many times when veterans, you know, are struggling with PTSD or a serious injury after coming home, it's just them. It's not their whole family that's considered. They'll just maybe help the veteran, but nobody else. This is inclusive for the entire family, housing them, teaching them to, you know, to grow their own vegetables, teaching them the skills for jobs so that they can build a community together. And it's all inclusive. Just fantastic.
What a great event. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, we're excited to even offer you. And by the way, I'll show you this real quick. You might enjoy this. This is from last year. I was covering several Trump rallies with my friend Brian Glenn that I mentioned at the top of the show from RSBN. And I got to spend a little bit of time with President Trump. Just love him. Just love him.
He's great. Absolutely fabulous. You know, we just had a rally here at Conroe, Texas a few weeks back. The largest rally I guess he had ever had. Certainly the largest one in Texas. And
yes, sir.
And I was asked to speak right before, you know, Trump came out. And I stood up on that podium, which is about 10 or 15 feet above the crowd. And looking across, I could never see the end of the crowd. It just went on, I mean, over the horizon, out of sight. I don't know how many, you know, somebody said 85,000, 90,000, 40,000. I don't know. It was.
I think it was over 100.
It may have been. Could have very well been.
Yeah, I mean, it was deep. It was definitely deep. I mean, and look, and those crowds are going to keep growing. That's the thing. So. It's like the more that you kick, the more that you kick us, we're just going to keep rolling.
I can see it building. I've been to several rallies here in Texas. That was by far the largest one.
Well, look, we're thrilled. We're thrilled about that, and God bless you for doing that, sir. By the way, I thought this was amazing on your behalf with your reach. You know, again, I talk about you having your finger on the pulse of the people. When it comes to our grid, our workers who deal with the grid, our electrical workers, you had one post where you posted it and hit over 500,000 people that you reached. I mean, that's an amazing reach. Just amazing.
We're very active on social media, mainly Facebook. I average about, a month. I'll have a reach of around, 28 to 32 million people. That's almost a million people a day. So we're very active on it. If anybody doesn't follow us and would like to, it's Miller for Texas. It's Facebook / Miller for Texas.
Yes, and by the way,
Twitter and Instagram.
I was going to say, and by the way, I'm scrolling that at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that, but I've got your Facebook listed there. Also, Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller, your information, your website, millerfortexas.com, your Twitter handle, and Facebook. So look, and if anybody on the show, on any of our audience wants to get in touch with you, I'll direct them right away to your campaign.
Thank you.
Your website.
I appreciate that. It's important that you stay in touch with the people and stay close to the grassroots, and that's what we do, and we do it through social media.
Well, I'm a veteran myself of the military, so when I tell people this all the time. I had Devin Nunes on. He was one of my first guests on the show when it was David Padrush, Mark Levin's executive producer, that asked me to put this show together. And Devin was one of the first guests I had, and it was actually after Sidney Powell, and at the time he was still a congressman, and Devin said, "John, you're a great citizen journalist. Anything I can ever do for you, you let me know." And I take pride in that, because I'm not mainstream or fake news media. We tell the truth here, and we bring it to the people. And I owe that to my brothers in arms. I owe that to the families of this country and every patriot that's out there. So that's never going to stop.
Well, thank you for doing it. It's appreciated. We try to do the same thing, bring the truth to the people, and a lot of people follow us just for that reason, to find out what the real story is. So, and we don't pull any punches. I get in trouble a little bit, here and there, and they censor me and etc. But so far they hadn't kicked me off. But hopefully it won't happen. But it could happen anytime, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And that you're exactly right. And it's interesting because I've actually got some of the Trump guys who handle his social media and his web stuff. I've got them building me an infrastructure to go away from big tech, so that if they do decide to kick me off, and believe me, I'm heavily censored, I'm shadow banned. They took away over 60,000 of my followers in 1 hour the night after the election, just on Twitter. On Twitter alone. So, look, my numbers don't even move on Twitter anymore because they are just suppressing me. They don't want me to get the message out. But we've got well over 100,000 followers across all the different platforms that we stream to. Probably 6 or 7 of them are all conservative. And then you've got the 3 big tech. And the 3 big tech is what we need to wean off of. But we need to be self-supportive so that they can't kick us off the web, so that they can't interfere with donations, or any kind of fundraising that we do, or people buying merchandise, whatever it is, that we can't be connected to big tech. Because you see, even with the truckers, you see what they did. They're attacking their bank accounts right now. That's absurd.
Yeah, it is. It's just it's a dictatorship, basically.
Exactly. And you know Biden's going to try it.
Well, he better not. I mean, I'll just give him a warning. You think those truckers are upset? Just wait till you upset a bunch of patriotic Americans, especially Texans.
I love it.
We've rebelled before, both as a state and as a country.
That's right, sir. Look, we're going to take a real quick break, and we'll be right back with Commissioner Sid Miller. We've tried so many of Mike's products at MyPillow. Whether it's the Giza Dream Sheets, the MyPillow mattress topper, or whether it's the MyPillow towel sets. Me and my family here at Indivisible, we've tried all of Mike's great products, and we just love them. My mom loves her robe. Mark loves the big dog bed for Shakespeare. And my favorite, the moccasins, which are really great for my feet. Save up to 66% off for MyPillow products for you and your family. Go to mypillow.com and enter the promo code INDIVISIBLE for my show, or call 1-800-716-4639 and give them the promo code INDIVISIBLE for my show. You're going to love it. And we're back with Commissioner Sid Miller. I want to talk to you about a couple things because, look, I know you were on board from the very beginning with President Trump on the America First, PAC, the agenda. So I want to get right into it because, look, I talked about Beto O'Rourke, okay? He's down there in Texas telling people now that he's not going to take away their guns. What do you think? Do you believe him?
Well, he's a Democrat. They'll say or do whatever is necessary to get elected. There's no, they have no pride or no shame. There's no, there's nothing, no end to their hypocrisy.
I know.
He's anyway. I tell you what, though, everybody says Texas is not going to turn blue, and I'm with you. I don't think it is, but better take Beto serious. I mean, he came within less than 2 percentage points beating Ted Cruz. Now,
no. We can't take it for granted. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying instead is, let's call this guy out for what he is. We've got the tape. We've got him saying on tape, I mean, vividly, passionately telling everyone how he's going to take our guns away from us. Okay? And now he's on TV saying the opposite. He's a liar. And I would play that. He is. I would play that across every station in Texas and show the comparison of this guy on the fraud that he is.
Let me tell you why I think he's dangerous, John. He's going to energize every Democrat in the state of Texas and add a lot of new young people to the voter rolls. So they're all going to turn out and they'll vote for Beto. Now, Abbott, if he is our nominee, if he gets through the primary, and we don't know yet if he will or not, there's a lot of people that probably won't vote for Beto, but they're just not ever going to vote for Abbott again. Not after he made winners and losers and, call some businesses essential and some non-essential. And those people that are non-essential that lost their businesses are never going to support him again. And what the Democrats are hit him harder on than that is when the grid went down and we had over 250 people freeze to death. That was on the governor's watch.
Right.
And they're going to hold him accountable for that. And it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, no, I understand. And look, because we care so much about that border, our military veterans, I know you do. I know how important veterans are to you and their families. For that reason and that reason alone, and the border situation and everything that you just said about him being held accountable, I'm rooting. I'm pulling for Colonel West.
Well, and West would be great. He's got a great plan to secure the border. There's two more guys that'd be good too. Don Huffines would be great. He's got a great plan. Chad Prather, they're all friends of mine.
I love Chad Prather. I love Chad Prather. Good. I know Chad too.
Yeah, all of them would be good.
Hey, at the very least, if one of the other wins, maybe they could serve together on the same piece of line, maybe a lieutenant governor position or something else. They can work together. They can make it happen. Chad's a great guy too. Great guy.
Oh yeah. They're all good. This governor, it might surprise you, John, but I've been in office 7 years. So is Abbott. I can't get a meeting with him. Never had a meeting with him. Asked numerous times. Never got a phone call returned. Never got an email or a letter answered. I mean, zero communications. Politico interviewed me a few weeks back, and they said, "So what's it like working with Governor Abbott?" I said, "Well, it's kind of like working with Sasquatch. I know he's out there. Somebody's seen him. We've seen the footprints, but I've just never been able to get a meeting with the man."
I actually have that in common with you. I tried to get a meeting with, and this isn't even this term or this cycle. This is, I think, 2 cycles ago, or at least 1 cycle ago in the state of Ohio. I tried to get a meeting with the guy who was running for governor, and I talked to a bunch of his handlers, and they gave me the runaround. I never even got to talk to the guy. I had like 5 issues that I could have sat down with him and made a difference in the campaign, because I have my thumb on the pulse of the people here in Ohio, and I couldn't get a meeting with the guy. And see, you just described, and I just described one of the big problems, and that is that a lot of these politicians, they don't have their thumb on the pulse of the people. They don't understand that it's all of us people down here that make America go. Okay. And they get so high and mighty that they think, I don't have to deal with this person. I don't, once I become governor, nobody can touch me. It's nonsense. When you forget about we the people, you're done.
I agree. And that's, one thing that sets me apart from every other elected official in the state of Texas, and this gets me in trouble a lot, and you kind of follow me and kind of know my background, but not only do I hold the liberals accountable, but I hold the establishment Republicans accountable.
Yes, sir.
When Governor Abbott unconstitutionally expanded early voting for a third week, I sued him. When the Senate required masks, even though the governor put out an executive order, no mask on state property.
Right.
Not only did they require masks to come into the Senate, they made you stand outside in January, February, and March in the cold for 30 minutes, get a DNA test, see if you had COVID, put you in the DNA data bank. And, they hadn't passed my budget and they hadn't passed the sunset bill, but, I thought the right thing to do was just go ahead and sue my lieutenant governor and all 31 senators. And I did,
Good.
And,
good. That's exactly what we need to do. And you know what? And I talk about this because this is important. Everything that you just said about holding these it doesn't matter. Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter, because we have rhinos in our party that need to be dealt with, as you alluded to. But here's the other thing, and this is so important. And we've been getting into this conversation more and more over the last year or so. But we need to start winning at the local level again. Okay? It's not just these big races like governor. It's it's also local school board, judges, all these municipalities across the states in America. We need to win at the local level. Mayor, city council,
exactly.
School board. I mean, when you start winning at that local level for those kind of positions, then you can take the power back and stop a lot of this nonsense. But we have to do it with people that really, really love America, that aren't going to sell out to China.
I agree. And you're exactly right. Actually, I started out as a school board member, and then became a state lawmaker, and now a statewide elected official. So, that's where the we need the most influence is at the local level.
Yes, sir.
Whether it be
Yes, sir.
school board or city council or county commissioners, you name it. Those are all very, very important.
Oh, absolutely. And by the way, I know how much you care about the Texas taxes. So every resident, every voter in Texas pays taxes, just like any other place in America. Okay. And those taxes are going to keep going up and up and up. Why? To pay for this Build Back Better nonsense, which is a non-starter, just like the shovel-ready jobs were with Barack Hussein Obama. That was nonsense, right? Okay. Tax dollars wasted. That has to be dealt with. That's another, kitchen table issue that matters to Americans, especially when, since, 2 years ago, gas prices have doubled, tripled. Okay. They go to the grocery store. Their money stretches only so far. They can't buy what they used to. Now, you talk about all that. Now let's throw in the illegal immigrants coming across that border. It's going to be affecting hospitals, schools, law enforcement, which is going to translate into more higher taxes. So we can't do this, and we can't afford to pay the bill for people that don't even belong here. It's nonsense. It's not constitutional, and it cannot stand.
Well, let me tell you, you talk about the cost in our schools. So my agency, it's a $6 billion agency. So my budget is larger than the budget of 31 states. This is no small agency. our biggest ticket item is I'm responsible for 5 million school meals each day. Now, when I became commissioner, if a school could get 40% or more of their kids signed up for free or reduced lunch, the federal government just paid everybody's lunch free. Everybody gets it free. If 40% qualify, we'll pay 100% of everybody. That's crazy. Then they lowered it to 30%. If you can just get 30% of them all signed up, we'll feed everybody for free. Guess what it is today? We just feed everybody for free. They don't even have to sign up for free and reduced lunch. Everybody gets a free lunch.
That's crazy.
There is no free lunch. Yes, there is. Everybody's getting a free lunch, including the illegals. I mean, where does it stop? I mean,
exactly. You just put your finger on it. Where does it stop? And that's just it. If we continue to allow these idiots to run things, okay, and make these kind of decisions, especially at the federal level, it's never going to stop because they will never stop spending.
It's amazing, and they use the pandemic, for the excuse that we're just going to do away with any requirement. We'll just give away every meal, 2 and 3 meals a day away, which some of these kids need that. I mean, but there's a lot of them, my grandkids don't need a free meal. We can pay for it, but
sure.
They don't. They won't even take the money. It's too much trouble to keep up with.
Well, and not only that, but let's talk about that. That's a great point. You've got some families that can pay for their own kids, right?
Right.
You've got other kids who really need those lunches, right?
Right.
But nobody ever talks about, and I always talk about, it's like a heart surgeon. A heart surgeon uses a scalpel, correct? Okay. When it comes to budgetary items and fiscal responsibility, we need to use a scalpel, okay? And when you take that scalpel, let's talk about fraud, waste, and abuse. Just like there are people gaming the system. I don't care if it's on the border. I don't care if it's food stamps, welfare, free lunches, okay? People out there that need the help, disabled people, our senior citizens, they deserve it. They've paid taxes. They've done what they need to do. People that actually need the help, no problem, okay? But all you and I both know, and everybody out there knows, that there is a ton, probably in the billions of dollars, of fraud, waste, and abuse. People that are able to work, that don't want to work. Instead, they'd rather deal drugs. They'd rather get free food stamps and welfare and deal drugs on the side and go down to the local store and get 40 ounces all day. Okay? You and I know that. So we need to take a scalpel to that and get rid of those people that are abusing the system because those numbers are huge.
Well, this is easy to fix, John. It really is. Close the border, funding all of that. It's all all we have to do is just reinstitute the Trump era policies. It was working. Everything was working fine. We were closing the border. We were building the wall. The surge of drugs and immigration and human trafficking was down. We got regulation. We
were energy independent.
Yeah, we took the boot off of a businessman's neck. Everything was prospering, and we're bringing jobs home from overseas, and companies were bringing their factories back, and we were energy independent.
Exactly.
What happened to that?
I mean, how stupid is that?
Of course, I'm traveling the state. I'm in a primary election right now. It's two weeks away, so I was traveling West Texas. I saw for the first time diesel for $4 a gallon, $4 a gallon for diesel. I didn't buy any there. I found some a little cheaper. But,
good for you.
Yeah, it's getting serious down here.
Yeah, well, I think in California, what are they looking at? $5 a gallon right now? $6?
Yeah, that's for gasoline, and I'm sure diesel's $6.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
At least 50 cents to $1 higher than gasoline.
By the way, what's the date of your primary? Is it March 1st?
Election day. We're in early voting right now. They're voting now. Election day is March 1st.
March 1st. So everybody, you're in Texas. If you haven't done early voting down in Texas, you better get to the polls on March 1st early. Don't do it late. Get there early, or better yet, do it the day before, or get that early ballot in and make sure that you're voting for Commissioner Sid Miller, because he's fighting for you. Commissioner, a couple quick things. We talked about our border. We've talked about your background in farming. And, you know, I have a lot of friends down at that border that, again, we're paying close attention every day, and we know what's happening. And those numbers down there, they've doubled and tripled in the last couple months, and nobody's talking about it. And we're not even talking about the people that we're not catching, okay? Because we've caught, besides the numbers doubling and tripling, we've caught terrorists. We've caught people from over 150 countries down at that border. And a lot of these people are coming from countries that hate us.
Exactly. And we've got the IOM, the International Organization of Migration. It's part of like NATO, helping organize these trips and shipping these people into Panama from all over the world, and facilitating them, you know, coming through our border. Where we made a mistake, at least in Texas, John, the day we knew that Joe Biden was going to be president, we should have been preparing to close that border.
Yes.
He already said it's going to be wide open. There'll not be another foot of wall built. You know, we're going to have open borders. So we waited a full year here in Texas to even respond. We'd already let 1 million people in before we tried to stop the surge. The way you stop it is you have preemptive. That day that we knew that Biden was going to be president, we should have been down there calling out the National Guard, calling out the Texas State Guard. We have our own militia here, the DPS, the Texas Rangers, putting them on the border. Where the border wall hadn't been built, we should have rolled out razor wire. We still haven't done that. We should have been buying our own drones, aerial surveillance, getting those up in the air. We should have doubled and tripled the number of gunboats we have on the river. And when that first surge, the very first surge got to the Rio Grande River, we said, hey, we don't care what Biden says. You're not coming into Texas, buddy. You just turn right around or go somewhere else. Texas is closed. We wouldn't have this problem.
That's right.
We waited a full 12 months before we ever responded with any kind of initiative. Now, you know, there's 2 million people already come through that we know about. That's not
exactly
the ones that snuck in. That's the ones that we processed.
Exactly.
We processed and helped. It's frustrating.
It is frustrating. And by the way, the other frustrating part of this, again, is that all those supplies to continue to build the wall, they've already been paid for. They're just sitting there.
Oh, let me tell you something. People probably, this just happened. So we had all this wall building material. The federal government didn't know what to do with it. So you could put in an application, you know, and to receive some of this because they want to get rid of it. This gets good. This is how stupid this administration is. And it's stupid good this time. So the Texas Facilities Commission, that's the one that handles all of our surplus equipment. They put in for application to receive this wall building material from the Biden administration, and they give it to us. They gave us the material to build the wall. We're picking it up. We got it for free.
You got to be kidding me.
I'm not kidding. Is that great or what? There is a silver lining out there somewhere. So we're picking up all the building material. We're going to put it up ourselves, hopefully.
Good.
We'll see.
Good. That's the best news I heard all day.
That's crazy good.
Well, it kills me because, like I said, this guy Biden, he's so out of it. I mean, it's intentional. We know it's intentional, but this guy will spend more money than we don't need to spend, by the way, to get out of those contracts to build that wall than the cost of the materials themselves, even after the materials are already paid for. This guy's crazy.
Like I said earlier, there is no end to their hypocrisy.
I know. Real quick, we're running out of time. I want to talk about the farmers down at not just all the farmers in Texas, but specifically farmers down at that border. Their land's being trampled on. They have no recourse. They have to defend themselves. They've got people running roughshod over their land, destroying their land. It's just nuts down there. I feel so bad for those farmers.
Well, and I know as ag commissioner, I know that, but prior to that, as a lawmaker, I was chairman of a committee called Homeland Security and Public Safety, and that was under Governor Rick Perry. So my charge was to secure that Texas border. So I know those border sheriffs. I know those ranchers. I have those relationships. Here's how bad it is. So when a rancher goes out to his place to check his cattle or his crops, he has to have somebody else in the truck with him.
Yeah.
Because he'll pull up to a gate, get out to open the gate to go through it, and they're hid in the brush, these cartel members and these illegals, and they jump in his truck and steal his truck and leave him afoot out there.
Yeah, or they'll throw a rock at him and knock him out.
Yeah, so somebody has to stay in the truck with the doors locked while the other person gets out, opens the gate, armed. I mean, you don't think about little stuff like that, but, it's a big deal just to try to get your gate open and get into the place. They go in. Of course, people have moved off. I mean, you can't live out there, so they move their families into town. So now their houses are ransacked out there, and a lot of them are set on fire and destroyed. They tear up their water lines and the livestock, the water troughs don't work anymore. They mess that up, and trash everywhere. They cut the fences, and the cattle get out, and they fix them, and they come. The next night they're cut again, and cattle are out on the road and getting run over, and it's a mess. It's really a mess.
Exactly.
The biggest travesty is property values. If you wanted to sell and get out, who's going to buy that?
Great question.
Property values just crashed. If be lucky to get any kind of offer on some of that land down there, and it's some of our best farmland.
And it doesn't have to be that way.
A lot of that's in land is what we call our winter garden area, where we can grow year round down there in the valley. A lot of citrus farms. Those guys are getting out. It's a dire situation.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. And I know, and we know a lot of those farmers, they're welcoming building the wall. Like they've questioned some of them down there and said, well, how do you feel about the wall being built on your property or through your property? A lot of those farmers are like, heck bring it on. Bring it on. Let's get that thing done.
Absolutely. Bring it on. We need it. I'm for it.
One last question for you, Commissioner, before we let you go. And this has nothing to do with Texas, but it's just really bothering me. And I want to ask you your opinion on it. And I saw this story yesterday, or maybe it was the day before yesterday, over in Finland. They're prosecuting 2 Christians for being Christian. And, we're seeing this up in Canada now as well. So we're seeing these different countries that are really coming after God-fearing people, Christians, people of faith. But yet they won't touch Islam, right? They won't touch Islam, but they're coming after Christians. And as you know, Christians and Jews in some parts of the world are being beheaded and killed and crucified and everything else. Burned at the stake. I mean, so, it really bothers me. I wanted to get your opinion on this. I mean, think about that. I would have never guessed a place like Finland would do this to Christians, but they are. I thought, just curious about your take.
Well, I've got this little thing I do on my radio show at the end of the show. I always say, here's today's cowboy logic. Okay. And we don't have much of that anymore. Some people just call it common sense.
Yes.
So, and I've been saying this a long time. If we don't elect godly leaders and put them in office, we allow the ungodly to rule over us. It's that simple.
Amen.
It's that simple.
Amen. You said it. You said it right there. That sums it up. Amen.
That's it.
Thank you so much, Commissioner, for coming on. I hope that we can have you back. I look forward to working with you on some of these charity events. Can't wait to get back down to Texas and Let's see if we can get Ted Nugent. What the heck?
We can probably get him. We'll work on that. And thank you for your service to your country, and thank you for what you're doing today still to serve your country and our nation. So God bless you, and much success on all your endeavors.
Thank you, sir. And by the way, audience, real quick, just so you know, again, this is Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller. You can get to his website at millerfortexas.com. It's scrolling at the bottom. His Twitter handle and Facebook, Sid Miller. And I hope that you will reach out, get involved with his campaign so that you too can make a difference. And Texans, you know what you need to do. Again, we've got a voting date coming up, and it is March 1st. So you better get down there and vote. But if you can, get that vote in before the deadline of March 1st. God bless you, Commissioner. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, John.
That was Commissioner Sid Miller. And, look, Texas, as you know, folks, it's huge. And Florida's huge. And other states, other red states that mean so much to the overall, pulse, I guess would be the word, of what's happening in the country and where we're going and the people that are willing to fight. So it's people like Commissioner Sid Miller that are fighting and that are fighting for you. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. By now, you've all heard me talk about Mike and his great products. Well, guess what? Mike's now introduced his MyPillow My Slippers, which are fantastic. Great on my feet, soft as can be. I love them. Mike's taken over 2 years to develop these slippers. He's designed them to wear indoor or outdoor all day, all night long. Made with MyPillow foam and impact gel to help prevent fatigue. Made with quality leather suede. For a limited time, Mike is offering 40% off his new My Slippers. The My Slippers are so comfortable, you're going to want to get them for the whole family. Go to mypillow.com and click on the radio listener square and use promo code INDIVISIBLE. You'll also get deep discounts on all MyPillow products, including the Giza Dream bed sheets, the MyPillow mattress topper, and MyPillow towel sets. Or call 1-800-716-4639 and enter Indivisible as your promo code. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. God bless you guys. We couldn't do this without you. And again, go to Stubbins.org. You can subscribe for free there. Click the notifications bell so that you get updates on every show. It'll let you know when a new show is coming. And believe me, over the last couple weeks, we've had Tom Homan, President Trump's ICE director. We've had Jason Jones. We've had Colonel Schaefer. Today, last week we had Teddy Daniels, who's running for lieutenant governor in Pennsylvania. We had Emerald Robinson. We had Colonel Stuart Scheller, who was incarcerated and wrongly, and also discharged from the Marines, and that was not right. So those, and obviously today we had Sid Miller. We've got Colonel West coming back up. We've got some amazing shows. We're going to be doing interviews at CPAC, so I hope that you guys will be looking for that. In the meantime, until we join you again, God bless you, God bless your families, and God bless America.
Yeah.